The Garmin Venu 2 and the Huawei Watch 3 are two supreme smartwatches, and both of them cost quite a lot. Before you spend 400 euros on either of these smartwatches, let me help you out a little bit. Hey, my name is Leonard, you're watching a product review, and that's me. So like I just said, both of these watches are extremely costly. The Garmin Venu 2 comes at a price of 399 euros, whereas the Huawei Watch 3 still costs 380. So both watches are pretty similar in that department. Now before you spend 400 euros, and can't decide whether to buy the Garmin Venu 2 or the Huawei Watch 3, this video is for you. So today we will split this video up in 5 different parts. Point number 1 will be the battery life. Point number 2 on my list is the sport modes and the accuracy of the health and GPS tracking. Number 3 will be the specs and design. Number 4, all of the features that we get with these watches. And as for last, we will talk about the navigation. Now before we jump into the video, please leave a like and consider subscribing if you're new to the channel. Also click the notification bell to always be notified whenever I upload new videos. It will help me tremendously in the YouTube algorithm. Now with that being said, let's start with my first point on the list. For me and probably a whole lot of other people, the battery life is an essential feature. No one really wants to charge a smartwatch every day. Now with these two watches, you don't have to do that. Well, maybe not every day, but every other day. Now the Huawei Watch 3 will last for about 2 days if you're wearing it 24/7. You have the heartbeat tracking on, SpO2, sleep tracking, if you have the brightness settings on like 50%, and if you do a workout every day with GPS. The Garmin Venu 2 lasts a whole lot longer. With 11 days, it lasts 5 times longer than the Huawei Watch 3. So the clear winner in this category is the Garmin Venu 2. But one little side note, both watches take about 2 hours until they're fully charged. That was the battery life. And now let's head over to the accuracy of the tracking area and what sport modes they have to offer. Now clearly the biggest difference between these two watches is the accuracy, since both watches have about every sport mode you can imagine, starting with running and cycling, over to water and winter sports, and even running courses. On both watches, you can set goals, for example, if you reach a certain distance or time. Well, you can play around a little bit more on the Garmin Venu 2 and change the accent color and change the data screens and what is displayed while you're running. But that's the only difference right here. The bigger difference comes in the tracking accuracy. Both do very well in keeping track of your heart rate during the day or during your workouts. They almost gave me the exact same heart rate. As for the step counting, the Huawei Watch 3 was a little bit better, as it was only off by like 1% on 1,000 steps. Whereas the Garmin Venu 2 was off by like 2 to 3% on average. Now, that's not a big difference, both do very well, but we have to be very precise if we want to compare these two super smartwatches. My pace on the Garmin Venu 2 compared to my Polar H10 chestband was a whole lot closer than with the Huawei Watch 3, and GPS-wise or even the burn calories are about the same once again. Now in this category, I would actually give both watches a point since both do very well, but the Garmin Venu 2 has a slight advantage, so I have to give the point to the Garmin. Point number 3 on my list are the specs. Now the Garmin Venu 2 may be a little bit too big for the taste for most people with 45.5 millimeters, but actually you can get the Garmin Venu 2S, which is the exact same watch, just a little bit smaller. But anyways, the Venu 2 has a 1.3 inch AMOLED touch display with a resolution of 416 by 416 pixel and an always on display function. You also have a pretty nice textured silicone strap with a quick release function. It is water resistant up to 5 ATM, and you get the Corning Gorilla Glass 3, which is known for its toughness and durability. So you can drop the watch and don't have the fear of a broken screen or any scratches. As for last, we have a stainless steel bezel and a hard plastic for the case. The Huawei Watch 3 is even a tiny bit bigger than the Garmin with 46.2 millimeters. This one weighs in at 54 grams, has a big 1.43 inch AMOLED touch display with a resolution of 466 by 466 pixel, and of course an always on display mode. It has a stainless steel case with a ceramic bottom and a fluoroelastomer strap. But of course we can swap that out anytime we want to with the quick release function. The Huawei Watch 3 has 16 GB of internal storage and a whopping 2 GB of RAM. Now both watches are of course compatible with iOS and Android, are water resistant up to 5 ATM, and I guess I have to give a point, or I have to split this point up, so both watches get a point over in the specs area. Well, that's already it for the specs, so let's head over to some features. So at first we will talk about the Garmin Venu 2, and after that we will talk about the Huawei Watch 3. So the Garmin Venu 2 of course has an all-day heart rate monitoring and SpO2 tracking, as well as the stress tracking, which are all working just fine. We do receive all kinds of messages to which we can honor quick reply. Unfortunately, we cannot answer any calls since we have no internal mic or speakers, So for that, we will still need our smartphone. With this watch, you also get a whole bunch of customizable watch faces, which even has some motion to make them more fun to look at. As well as we have a weather widget, a music player, body battery, and a respiration rate tracker. One thing we have to mention before we head over to the Huawei Watch 3 is that we have two physical buttons on the side, of which the upper one either takes us to our sport mode or to the quick panel, and the lower one takes you to the settings and the watch faces. Now the Huawei Watch 3 has two physical buttons as well, of which the lower one is customizable and the upper one either takes you to the app menu or back, or you can use that one to navigate through your messages and zoom in and out. So just like the Garmin Venu 2, we have an all-day heart rate monitoring, sleep and stress tracker, a sleep tracker, music player, a weather widget, and breathing exercises. Now, unlike with the Garmin, we can receive calls and answer them right on the watch, since we do have a built-in speaker and a microphone. But unfortunately, we cannot reply to any messages, not even a quick reply, which is a bummer. As well as we have the Huawei app store with a small variety of useful apps and a skin temperature measurement. Before I forget, both watches have an alarm timer and a stopwatch, and I have to give this point to the Huawei Watch 3 simply because it has a few more features and the armless calls. And now with that being out of the way, let's get to my last point, the navigation. It clearly is better on the Huawei Watch 3, simply because you can either swipe left and right, up and down, but you can also use the rotatable button and you have a customizable button. I mean, both watches are super responsive and you have no lagging when you open up apps, but I have to give this point to the Huawei Watch 3. Now folks, that makes 3 points for the Garmin and 3 points for the Huawei Watch. And I think it's a fair score since both watches have its weaknesses and its strength. And I guess that's it for the video. I hope you liked it. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that yet. And with that being said, see you next time. Peace.